Nithyananda, everybody. Guess what time it is? It's time for part 18 of Anahanta Chakra from the book Guaranteed Solutions, which is written by His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam. And the subject is Anahanta Chakra. Of course, I just gave that away in the beginning. And it's located in the heart center. What blocks it is attention need and approval seeking. So for the past 19 days or so, I have been going through this book page by page, maybe 2-3 pages at a time, and looking at the insights that Bhagavan has to share about what is love, what is actually love, how we have misconstrued it, misunderstood it, and have been misinformed about it in general society, but what it means to be unconditionally loving, what it means to be in tune with existential energy and to allow it to express from our own inner space. So the last couple of days has been really exciting because I feel like more things are opening up. Yesterday what opened up was what stops us from really allowing existential energy to flow through. So what's stopping is that at the moment we are fragmented. So inside of us, there are many different parts of us that are wanting many different things, going in many different directions or wanting to go in many different directions. And because we're fragmented, we're not integrated, that stops us from actually really fully being present and experiencing the existential energy who we truly are. And when we open our heart center completely, when we decide to be in the space of unconditional love, then what are the qualities, what are the different qualities that actually can express? So one of the things was that once one will only be able to pick up responsibility for ourselves and for others around us when we are tuned to existential energy. Okay, so how do you know? How do you and me know when we are in the space of true existential energy, which is unconditional love? How do we know that? When we are able to pick up responsibility without cringing, cribbing, feeling like it's a burden, with joy. That's one of the ways. And what stops us from experiencing that existential energy is our fragmented parts of us, our ego. So that's where we stopped yesterday. Okay, so I'm going to continue reading. If you haven't already watched all the different parts, you can go and watch them on my YouTube channel. I've kept them there as, you know, from part 1 to part 18 today. Obviously, I'll upload it. But it's a real, I'm getting so many clicks. I can feel something bubbling up inside of me as more and more reading happens of the book and the pages from this particular chapter. I can see something starting to shift in my inner space and have more clarity about this particular topic, which is love, and how we get distracted by what is not instead of putting energy into experiencing what is. Okay, so I'm going to start back a few more lines, repeating what I read yesterday. Okay. Masters tell you to go deep inside yourself to discover yourself. This center is your true nature. This is actually you. But you seek to find yourself in all sorts of places, relationships, and people. So that's where I had stopped yesterday. And the key thing in Vedic Sanatana Hindu Dharma, the key thing, any master, living master, their job, Swamiji himself actually says that his job is to push us inward. So we start looking inwards for all of the answers, for the questions, because the intelligence is inside of us. But if I'm feeling unfulfilled, if I'm feeling unhappy, if I'm feeling sad, and I seek the solution outside of myself, then I'm seeking for love outside of myself, and that's where I get lost. So here's Bhagavan is saying, masters tell you to go deep inside yourself to discover yourself. This center is your true nature. This is actually you. But you seek to find yourself in all sorts of places, relationships, and people. You are continuously missing. It is time you looked inside. It is time you stopped looking outside. You have deceived yourself enough. Move on. Okay, so here, Bhagavan is saying, one of the key things, well, of course, he said that awareness is one of the key things. The other thing is that when we start looking inwards, looking to find ourselves rather than in people outside of us, things outside of us, to actually look inside of ourselves for the true us. So we continuously talk about love. Swamiji is saying we continuously talk about love simply because we are missing it, simply because we have not had a taste of it. It is like this. When a person is thirsty, he talks and dreams of water all the time. The moment he has quenched his thirst, he will stop talking about it. We need to let go and experience true love, the love that merges you with the whole, and then we will stop talking about it. Existence is waiting with open arms to engulf you, to dissolve you into itself. But only if you're ready to let go. Just have the courage to let go with an open heart. You will meet and merge with it. When you are ready to feel the embrace of existence, you rise into a higher plane, a plane of higher consciousness. You enter into a space you never even knew existed. With existence, you always fall in to rise. Isn't that interesting? With existence, you always fall in to rise. That reminds me of Bhagavan's other book, Rising in Love with the Master, Raising in Love with the Master. It's one of those. I get mixed up between the two bits. Rising or Raising in Love with the Master, I believe. Love is actually surrender, but it becomes a fight for most of us. We fight with ourselves and we fight with existence also. When I say surrender, I don't mean surrendering out of acceptance. I mean surrendering out of deep understanding. When you surrender out of acceptance, you are compromising. Love can never be a compromise. Understand that. The moment you compromise, you are not loving. Only when you understand and dissolve, it becomes love. When you are with the Master, you have a lifetime opportunity to discover love. You have the opportunity to die and resurrect with true love. The alchemy process that happens in you in the presence of a Master will give you no option but to die and be born again with true love. All you need to do is be willing to die or dissolve in him. Here I'll just pause for a moment, okay? So I believe what Swamiji is saying is the ego, the identity part of us needs to simply die. It needs to get out of the way so we can allow the dissolving into existential reality to happen. And the other thing here, which is, I don't mean understanding out of acceptance, I mean surrendering out of a deep understanding. See, this is the thing about Vedic culture, and it is culture, not a cult, because all of the information, the correct knowledge with the correct context is presented to every one of us. And it is our free will to decide to pick what is best for us, the highest best for us. So just like in this chapter, Swamiji has pointed out where the problems are. He's also pointing out how to get to what is the best available to us. So it's up to us once to listen carefully without judging, with openness, listen carefully to what's being presented, and then decide for ourselves with free will, with the intelligence that has been given, what we would like for us, and anything that's stopping us from moving towards what is best for us, handling that where we need to handle it. But a master's job is to present the best that's available, right? So here, popularly, a lot of people I've heard people say that Swamiji, for instance, the organization is a cult. And I'd like to just address that here and say that actually none of us are brainwashed. we have a very clear understanding of what we are choosing or what is available for us, whether it's yoga, it's panchakriya, it's satsang, it's puja, offering Guru puja, whether it's enriching or causing. It doesn't matter which spiritual truth we are looking at, power manifesting, third eye awakening, they are all about the intelligence. All the intelligence behind each of these has been shared, and then the experience is being made available, and how to get to that experience is made available as well. So what is it that we want to experience? We want to experience ourselves as super consciousness. We want to experience ourselves as Paramashiva, the ultimate. So that's what's available. That is the best of the best available. And all Swamiji is doing is presenting this is what's available. So we don't need to keep diving into the lower, lower image of ourselves or anything less than Paramashiva. So living life powerfully is what's been made available. If one isn't in a cult, then there's got to be a whole bunch of powerlessness, clearly, because to be in a cult, you've got to be, and you can't have free will exercised. So that's my bit to share in terms of that's what's triggered for me to share when it comes to Swamiji sharing here. He's saying, I don't mean surrendering out of acceptance, I mean surrendering out of a deep understanding. When you surrender out of acceptance, you are compromising. Love can never be a compromise. So here again, the best of the best is made available. It's not about dropping what you want. It is actually aligning our desires, maturing our desires to the highest possibility that's available for us. And that's out of free will. Okay, so here we go. The alchemy process that happens in you in the presence of a master will give you no option but to die and be born again with true love. All you need to do is be willing to die or dissolve in him. When you are ready for this, when you have the courage to do this, you are ready to take a leap into higher consciousness. Now, I had not read the next line now, but I've just talked about super consciousness. I've just talked about Paramashiva. I've just talked about the ultimate. And these are the beautiful, mystical, magical things happen when we decide to entangle with existential energy, is that we become in tune with what it wants to communicate with us. So love is not an object. It is the subject. It is you. You become love, that's all. Then you will start loving without a reason. You will love the trees, the flowers, the earth and whatnot. You will simply radiate love. You then become one with the whole universe. All boundaries disappear and you merge with existence. You see, when you grow in love, you learn to include everything and everyone. When you see a master, you will understand how encompassing he is. He never excludes anything or anyone. He sees no imperfections in anyone. He is just pure love, that's all. And pure love sees no imperfections. Existence is pure love, and society is always against pure love. Isn't that interesting? Deep inside, society is actually against existence or God. Now I'm just going to pause there. That's made me giggle a little bit, because look at this. Deep inside, society is actually against existence or God. This book was written, this book was presented, I'm sure, way before the persecution started on Swamiji. And isn't it this line says it all. Deep inside, society is actually against existence or God. Now that's the persecution there, right there, isn't it? It is true. Society is actually against existence or God. All its worship is mere hypocrisy. So society's worship is mere hypocrisy. It hides behind worship. The best way not to follow anything deeply is to start worshipping it. Society escapes in the name of worship. When you worship, you don't have to do anything else, and people will not trouble you because you're worshipping. But what happens to your inner space? No growth happens, and it remains where it was. So if we're not inching every single moment in anything spiritual we're doing, if we're not inching towards experiencing experiencing existential energy in a tangible way, then surely it's got to be hypocrisy. And this is not about insulting anything or anyone. It's about really looking at it in a very simple, even logical way, like in a mathematical way, in a calculating meaning, okay, so if I want to experience something, then I take these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps and I get to experience that. Now, if I'm not experiencing, so why would I worship? I would worship because I want to connect with existence, with God, with the ultimate. Yes, that's why I would pray or worship. Now, if I am not having that experience, then what is the point of that particular action? A good question. I think it is. Society will never approve of you if you were to let go and love every plant and animal with endless love. It will tell you that you are mad. It will approve only of societal love. Love that is governed by give and take. Love that comes in with a reason. Now, for a lot of us, this may not even make sense, but it's really, really worth going in. As at the beginning of this pages, when I started reading today, Swamiji talked about going inwards. So if you're to start internalizing what Bhagavan is sharing, what Swamiji is sharing here, then the subtleties of what Bhagavan is sharing really starts to come alive. And actually, I find that the moment I find the click and I'm going, oh wow, Swamiji, that's so right. You're so right. That's exactly how it's working. Those are the moments where I experience liberation from a very conditioned way of existing. So I'll continue, okay? But I tell you, don't give up. Keep on loving with all your heart. See existence in everything. Feel the plants with tenderness in your heart. See the animals as if they were your own. See every human being as a part of God. That is the real worship. It is easy to worship God in the temple. The real worship is seeing everything as God, seeing your neighbor as God. People never go to the root of anything. That is the problem. The root of God is love. The root of God lies in seeing Him in everything. People are afraid to go to the root, so they delude themselves in superficial layers. They don't have the courage to explore beyond a certain point in anything in life. That is why they don't allow you also to explore. They tell you what they have found is the truth. They tell you that it is enough if you follow what they're saying. Have the courage to go deep inside and love. You will start feeling the common thread of existence in all that you see. You will understand that all you see are illusory happenings held together by the real thread that is existence. Automatically, you will start loving everything in the same way without any trouble, because you will see only existence in everyone and everything. So what is sticking out for me really today as a big shift, and this is something that I invite all of you to have a look at as well. So Swamiji oftentimes has said that he would, if he had something come up for him, then he would always wonder how Arunagiri Yogeshwara would handle that situation, or how his other masters would handle that situation. So here, how is Swamiji loving everybody? How is he experiencing people? And this is a big click for me. Okay, so what is a big click? Click is this part here. When you see a master, you will understand how encompassing he is. So this is where he says that he is all-inclusive, but exclusively for each and every person. Okay, so exclusively for everybody and all-inclusive. He never excludes anything or anyone. He sees no imperfections in anyone. He is just pure love, that's all. And pure love sees no imperfections. So this is the big click today for me that I'm taking away. And of course, look within for the experience you're seeking rather than outside of yourself. Okay, so today will end here, and then tomorrow will continue, and Sunday also will continue. So I'm interested to see how this is gonna go and how it's gonna end in terms of whether I'll go to the next chapter or not. But thank you all for watching. There's quite a few of you, so I'll say hello quickly. Let's go through. So Addie, okay, Addie, I'll say hello to Addie, Gina, Janelle, Paramashanta Svarupa from Kenya, yes, Nithyanandam, and Wendy, Nithyanandam, it's me, you, Nithyanandam, Charmaine, Nithyanandam, Indrajitma, yes, as usual you are there, so Nithyanandam to you, Olivier, Nithyanandam, a big wave to Jeanette, and Suzanne Davidson, Nithyanandam, and Nika Funk. So thank you all for watching. I will upload the video again on YouTube. So you can, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel already, please do. It's easier to organize it there. That's why I put them also on YouTube. Of course, any feedback is welcome. But from this chapter, what I'm getting so far is it's love made simple, love made easy to really grasp, experience, and experiencing existential energy, unconditional love is very much possible. We've got to allow the cognitive shift to happen from conditioned way of existing in society, the give and take, to unconditional, allowing the divine to flow through us. So allowing the cognitive shift to happen, being patient with ourselves, persistent with ourselves, because what is the best that's available for us? An open Anahanta Chakra is available. The fountain of existential energy is happening if we allow it. Just drop attention need and drop approval seeking. Where I'm sure each and every one of us are having glimpses into these moments, especially if you're connected to a living master, just like Swamiji, then surely no way but to experience existential energy live. Yes. So inviting everybody to play with some of the truths that has been shared in all the parts that I have read so far from the book. So the pages I have read from the book in different parts, put it this way. I invite all of you to have a look, careful look. Okay, so thank you all for watching. I wish you a good evening, a morning, afternoon, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. And I look forward to tomorrow's video. Take care. Nithyanandam.